Welcome back to Let's Build a Tetris-Like with Unreal Engine 5. Today we're going to talk about animation a little bit, and what we're going to start with is the blocks themselves. So let's go into the code. What I did was I created this existed before, set active slice, but it behaves a little different now. I created a boolean that lets you know if the block is going active or not. And now set active slice runs in tick. So as the, all right, that's unset, tick. Yeah, so, so as the block is ticking, I'm passing in delta time to set and unset. If the boolean is going active is set, then I'm going to start using this v_interp2, which essentially the v is for a vector, and we're interpolating from the current location to the in play position, since we're going active. Then we have to stick in delta time so that it does it smoothly, and then the switch speed is just something arbitrary that I picked. Right now this equals 10. And then if the location reaches its destination, which is the in-play destination, then I'm going to disable the be going active boolean. Now the exact opposite is what's happening for the unset active slice, and this allows us to just set a boolean from the player board, and then it will automatically go through and do the animation. Now, the important thing is here is while it's animating, you don't want input from the player, and you want, if there is a tetramino in play, you want to move it out of the way. So I created this little helper function called isAnimating and gave it a new boolean. I'm not even sure if this boolean is necessary. I can just directly return be going active and or be going inactive. But anyway, let's head on over to this. All right, and we're going to be using this in the in animation playing on the player board. So there are different functions because there can be multiple animations going, not just the blocks going in and out of the play area. The scanner can also be scanning for cleared lines. So I have kind of a catch-all is animation playing, and I'm going to add to this as more animations go into the game. Now, is animation playing could actually be a fairly expensive call to have in tick. So in order to mitigate that a little bit, I'm checking the scanner first, because scanning is just, it's going to be an immediate return pretty much. So we can just do an immediate true. The expensive part is this bit where I have to go through every single block in play and find one if any of them are animating. Now, I can basically, as soon as I find one that is animating, then I know that the whole thing is animating. So I can stop. I can just return true there. So early returns, this will only have like a worst case scenario. If absolutely none of the blocks are animating, it'll loop through absolutely everything before it gets to this false here. But that's worst case scenario. But we're checking also to, where's tick? Where's tick? Tick is down here. So like I said, this is expensive. So is animation playing isn't something that I want to be calling multiple times per tick. So I'm setting it into its own boolean. I'm only calling it one time per tick, and then I'm using the boolean from there on out. Even though I could replace this boolean with is animation playing, that would give me a lot of overhead. Not that this is going to be a very performance intensive game, but as I get into like adding more graphics and stuff, it could help. Every little bit of performance can help. So that's just something I'm doing to mitigate that issue. The other thing that I wanted to go over was only scanning once per cycle through the cube. Now, what this looks like is I created another integer, or two of them actually, One telling you when the slice is ending. So 0 through 900 are the Y values that the cube is going to be active in. If the end slice equals 1,000, or if the active slice equals 1,000, it means it's time to scan. So the scanner will go up and down. It will clear blocks, but it'll only do it once once you've gone through every single area of the cube. Now, I am considering changing this. Actually, I think I already decided I am going to change this to a manual switch. Because what happens is some slices will be filled up with cubes or blocks, and you'll be sitting around just waiting for the slice to switch because you can't fit any more in and you don't want it to overflow. So I probably am going to change this to a manual, but I don't have any buttons or UI yet. So that'll be something that needs to come later. But essentially, if we're clearing lines and an animation is not playing, then you're going to scan, set that to true. Then clearing lines will be false. The scanner can take over the logic from there. So set scan is just a I don't know if oh yeah, it's just setting the boolean here. If it should be scanning equals should scan, and if scanning is true, you also want to set that because we have an is scanning function here as well, and we want that to be going at the same time, but these aren't necessarily equal. Should scan and is scanning, should scan will end up being false while it is still scanning. So I basically just set these both true when you're setting the scan, and then I handle the other ones separately. But if I want to know if it is still scanning, I can call this is scanning function, which is just a return, basically just a getter. All right, and then for the scan itself, go into scan. This works very much like the other animation, just vinterp 2. We have a top of the scan and bottom of the scan variables set up here, and in this it's just going up and down by 1100. But if I want to tweak that, I think I have those exposed. Oh, I exposed top scan. Actually, these probably don't need exposed anymore. I was just testing things. Yeah, so that's fun. But it basically just scans, and then the heavy lifting is done by the actual collision detection itself, which we kind of went into last time. So we're basically getting the overlapping actors, setting them to scan blocks. If the number of out actors is 100, then we're going to go through all this logic to remove them. Clear the lines here, and then we're moving them down, getting the block location, which is just block get actor location. And then if the Z axis is above the line level that has been cleared, then we're going to drop the blocks down after the clear. And that's kind of what I alluded to last time. This is doing the move down at the scanner level, and on the block itself, drop one after clear. This is where it's moving the block down, setting the position, and then setting the location. All right, what else did I want to cover here? So we did the animating. Oh yeah, and disable line scanning during animation. That is where the logic comes in for is animating. I set this is animation playing. At the end, it's gonna set the scan to true. That kicks off the scan. scanning for lines, and then we set the clearing lines to false. I don't know if this is necessary. I can just use his scanning here, but I need to refactor. I'm in desperate need to refactor an awful lot of this stuff anyway. I've got stuff in tick all over the place, and it's just kind of a mess right now, but I was mostly in feature adding. All right, and then, oh wait, for this, so this is for rotation, but this also adds to the only scanning once per loop through the cube. So if the active slice equals the end slice and the animations are no longer playing, that means that the scan is finished, all the blocks are cleared, all the blocks have finished moving up and down out of their in play area into the cube. Eventually, I'm going to rotate the cube and then start the moving through the active slices again. But the reason why this is here is so you don't have to wait for the timer to kick off to move the active slice. It just does it automatically after the scan is complete. So you don't have to sit around waiting. That was kind of annoying in my playtesting. But like I said, that's probably going away anyway. The timers, I mean. Okay, so we disabled the line scanning. We also disabled input. Not sure if I went into that, but it's the same exact thing. Set tetraminnow move direction. Yeah, so to disable input, I'm only allowing you to move the input or have input if an animation is not playing and if we are not clearing lines. Then this can happen. I think I might have had this in here already, but maybe not. I don't know. I did a lot of coding this weekend. But a lot of this just had to do with setting booleans, checking them at the right places. Like I said, I'm probably going to need to refactor some of this stuff, make it more clean and easy to follow, because I'm already stepping on my own 2 feet trying to explain everything. So that's a sign that you need to refactor, kids. All right, scan once per cycle. Rotate cube we'll get to later. And, you know, we're at 12 minutes. I'll go to the hold function later. Maybe I'll add the manual slice switching in between. But this is where I'm going to end it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.